All right, moving on to example 3. Rewrite each expression using rational exponents. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this. This is my method. Again, I show y'all in steps. I don't do anything in my mind at all. The first thing I'm going to do is realize that this entire thing is inside of parentheses. So I'm going to first start by putting this whole thing into parentheses. And since there's no power there, it's going to be 1. So now I know that this entire thing is getting raised like this. So I have 5xy, and it's in a parentheses, y'all, raised to the 1/4. That's what I have there. So we'll have more examples where we have to like simplify and do things, but I'm going to worry about that when we get there. So check out this one right here. This is a little weird, but check it out. There's actually technically parentheses right here. So when you go to set this up, this is one of those like do this step first, write your parentheses in, and then rewrite it as is. There's technically a 1 right here. There's technically a 1 right here. So here's how I rewrite this. I write it like this. I say the 3xy squared raised to the power of 1/3. Now, you can apply each of these to this if you wanted to. This is what it would look like. Unless it tells you to do this in the instructions, don't do it. But I want you to see how it breaks down. Remember, if there's no exponent, you can imagine there's a 1 there. Technically, there's a 1 there. So now the rule for exponent raised to an exponent is multiplication. 1 times 1/3 is 1/3. So you end up with 3 to the 1/3. 1 times 1/3 is 1/3. So you end up with x to the 1/3. And then you'll notice 2 times 1/3 gives you 2/3, which gives you right there. So both of these are correct. Both of these are correct. This one is more like expanded, I guess, but this one is the correct answer. So just depending on instructions, depending on what we want from you, I want you to see that these are the same thing and see how I got there. So now let's go ahead and start on C. I'm going to go ahead and write that in there. This is how I do it. This is how I conceptualize it. So now I'm going to write my 4a squared b raised to the power of 1/5. Raised to the power of 1/5. There's my 1 that I'm putting there, and there's my 1/5. Again, if you wanted to expand this out the whole way, pretend there's a 1 everywhere. 1 times 1/5. I have 4 to the 1/5. I have a. 2 times 1/5 is 2/5. And then b times that. There's a 1 there, remember. 1 times 1/5 is b to the 1/5. So both of these answers are correct. I want you to have experience in understanding how to get this mapped out, essentially. Check this one out. This one's kind of cool. This one's super fun. I'm going to show you D on how to do this. So it's kind of neat, and I'm just going to leave it like this. So on problem D, I would have this 1 over, remember there's a hidden 2 here, and we're going to put a 1 on this whole thing. I have 1 over 3xy to the 1/2. That's what that looks like. Now, you can expand it, you can do whatever else, but you notice how the rules, even though it's on the denominator, did the rules suddenly change for rearranging this? No, it did not. So we have this down. That's it. Now, if we said, hey, move this to the numerator, it would be weird, but the only thing you'd have to do to move this to the numerator, you just have to change the sign, and you'd end up with 3xy, this whole thing, to the negative 1/2. So remember the rules for negative exponents. They basically just like, if you move it from the top to bottom or bottom to top, it changes sign. So which answer is correct? Technically, both of these are correct. This one is more correct because we don't like negative exponents. But just in case you remember the rule, they say, hey, move this around. This is what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the next example. Example E, F, G. I'm just going to basically solve these out now pretty quickly. Here it goes. I'm going to write this down. 1 over, notice I have that 3 in there for you already. So this whole thing, 5x. My 5's really need work. 5x to the y, what is this, 3/4. I'm going to do this one again. I'm going to go ahead and have this. So we have 3x squared y to the what now? It is going to be 7 over 3. 7 over 3. That's it. It's not that big of a deal. And you could evaluate this by, again, multiplying each of the exponents. But we're not going to do that because I've already done this. So now here we go. I'm going to write this one. 7a squared b raised to the power of 2/5. And again, you can expand that if you wanted to. You'd end up with 7 to the 2/5, a to the 4/5, and b to the 2/5. If there's nothing here, there's a 2. Don't forget that. So now I have 3xy raised to the power of 6 over 2. But here's the thing, 6 over 2 reduces, so we're going to have it look like this. And I believe this 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it ends up looking like that. And I believe that's the end of example 3. Oh, no, we have 2 more. Let me go over there and do it. Ba-doom. All right. This one's pretty straightforward. If you don't see anything here, this is the square root one, and this whole thing gets raised up to the power of 1. So you end up with 3xy, the whole thing raised to the power of 1/2. And now we have j. Check this out. I'm going to have my 1 with all this down here. 2x squared y to the power of 7/6. So you can see how important it is to just do these over and over. That's the example 3 done.